Now, understand when you look at Golden State, you might see guys playing a little better together and all of this other stuff. There's more distribution of the basketball. Steph Curry can step up and be more aggressive with shot selection as opposed to being more judicious and diplomatic because he's got two other people to share with. Draymond Green doesn't have to sacrifice as much as his offensive game in order to facilitate things for the Kevin Durant and to a lesser degree the Boogie Cousins. I get all of that. But here's how I think everybody's looking at it backwards. Did it ever occur to everybody that Kevin Durant is so great? That's why you have to modify things. It's not like you have to modify things to make the team better. Kevin Durant is so phenomenal. Kevin Durant is so great. That's why modification is necessary. Because if he wasn't that great, then you bring him on board. All right, figure out a way to fit in with Steph and Clay. But no, Steph and Clay had to figure out how to get Kevin Durant fitted in. Kevin Durant didn't go to Golden State begging the Warriors to come. Iguodala and Draymond and Steph and Clay, they went to the Hamptons. They flew to the Hamptons to talk Kevin Durant into coming to Golden State. What y'all talking about here? That's what they did. What you doing that for? You know why? Because you had lost the championship to Cleveland, even though it was via a stimulus package given to Cleveland by Adam Silver in the NBA league office by suspending Draymond Green for that bogus kick after LeBron James shoved him to the floor. But that's neither here nor there. In the end, what it comes down to is Kevin Durant is so great, he's so phenomenal, that you felt compelled to make adjustments and modifications to appease him. You know why? Because it don't matter where Kevin Durant is. He always going to give you 27 a night on 49% shooting or better, on 38% shooting from three or better. That's Kevin Durant.
The Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guests on the Stephen A. Smith Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line, and you can always get in touch with the show through the 1-800-Flowers Twitter feed.
Presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive's Home Quote Explorer gives you multiple quote options so you can pick what's right for you. See for yourself at progressive.com. Plus, life's special events call for a beautiful bouquet from 1-800-Flowers.com. Right now, when you order a dozen Gerbera daisies for $29.99, you'll also get a free vase. For details, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/ESPN. I want to thank all my friends out there that see me looking down. I got people worried about me. They'll remain nameless. About 5 different people touch me. They think I'm asleep on the damn air for crying out loud. Ladies and gentlemen, my cell phone's right here. I get text messages all the time. So I'm looking down. I am not asleep. I am wide awake. I just want to make sure I'm clear, okay? The kind of energy that I have, I think you would know if I was asleep. Besides, I also snore very loudly, I might add. Although that has improved with Dr. Greenberg. He's been a very, very big help. So I don't snore nearly as much as I used to because I wear that Zebra device and all of that stuff. So my sleeping has gotten better. But when I sleep, I still snore a little bit. So if I was sleeping, you would hear me. I'm looking down, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sleeping. I just want to make sure I'm clear. Because you know the blogosphere and everybody going to lie. I'm not asleep. I'm right here looking at my text because players, coaches, owners, colleagues, and everybody else text me. And my phone is right here because it doesn't need to be up on camera while people are talking. Just want to make sure I recognize that. 888-SAY-ESPN is 888-729-3776. Landon Collins, formerly of the New York Giants, spoke recently about the New York Giants letting him go. Olivia Vernon, Odell Beckham Jr. Basically, individuals who happen to be black, that are very talkative and all of this other stuff, and we know about the culture change that has been put into full effect by the New York Giants. We know all of this. We know all of this, okay? Here's the deal. We were talking about it on First Take this morning with my man Marcus Spears. And First Take airs every weekday morning, 10 a.m. to noon, 7 to 9 a.m. Pacific, over the airways of ESPN television, with my man Max Kellerman and Molly Karam as well, even though she was out sick today. God bless her. Hope she's feeling better. Get back to work soon, sweetheart. We always miss you. Here's the deal. People talk about what's going on with the New York Giants. Why? And get rid of the black players, stuff like that. Nope, that's not it. Race don't have much to do with it. It's not about that. New York Giants, even though the first time they started a black quarterback was Geno Smith in 2017, if I remember correctly, that's not it. It's about a culture change per se, right? You know what it's really about? It's really about Eli Manning. The issue is not with the New York Giants getting rid of the players they got rid of. The issue involving the New York Giants is that they kept Eli Manning, who's clearly beyond his prime, who's clearly not the same kind of player. Even though he completed a higher percentage of his passes last year, clearly not the same. Missed throws, underthrows, overthrows, arm strength not necessarily there any longer, etc. We all know what we're looking at. But the Giants, figuratively speaking, spit in our face and tell us it's raining. They say to us, you know what, you ain't missing nothing. Y'all don't get what's going on here. Eli Manning is still special. He's got a couple of more years. And not only that, we're going to get the successor, and we're going to make sure that the successor we bring in is somebody he approves of. That's why you draft Daniel Jones out of Duke instead of Dwayne Haskins out of Ohio State. But I'm quite sure no matter what I feel, my man Carlton would have a far more extensive and expansive answer when it comes to an NFL team and his quarterback, one of my favorite callers in the world, my buddy, the one and only Carlton in Tampa. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, buddy? Talk to me.
How you doing today, Stephen A?
I'm doing all right, man. Talk to me. What's going on? How you doing?
Max's current hatred for the New York Giants is causing him to completely lose his mind. He's really losing it. Today he started off and concentrated his entire segment about how if Gettleman wasn't completely incompetent, the New York Giants, he would have traded him for a third-round pick. I guess Max doesn't realize that the fact that they lost Collins in free agency means the Giants are going to get a third-round compensatory pick for the loss of Landon Collins.
Okay.
So, his point was 110% wrong. Now let's move on to his comment that, everybody knows that Daniel Jones was a horrible draft pick at 6, and everybody knows that Dwayne Haskins is going to be like this complete success. And, we don't even have to get into the racial overtones that were flying through that segment today, as somehow the Giants are possibly racist, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. Hold on, Carlton. In fairness to me and Marcus, we didn't go there.
I know you didn't want to go this. I know you didn't.
Right.
But even bringing that up as a possibility on the show gets the race warriors, all agitated, which is insane,
Okay.
But here's what I want to point out about Dwayne Haskins versus Daniel Jones. Do you know how many Ohio State offensive players were drafted in the NFL draft in 2019, Stephen A?
I know. What is it? 1 or 2?
That's 5 beyond Dwayne Haskins. So Dwayne Haskins is one of 6, including 2 wide receivers, 2 offensive linemen, and a running back. And another Ohio State wide receiver was signed with guaranteed money as an undrafted player to the Houston Texans. So Ohio State has 3 guys right now under contract with NFL teams. Mm-hmm. Do you know how many Duke players were drafted other than Daniel Jones in the 2019 NFL?
I imagine 0. But I don't know.
Dwayne Haskins was throwing to speed burners, guys that set amazing records in those in that I'm drawing a blank on the name for when they bring the rookies in,
But let me you're the rookies. But here's the deal. Practice players could be anybody. Let me say this to you though, Carlton. Are you implying that Daniel Jones was the right pick at number 6 over Dwayne Haskins?
I'm not. Here's what I'm implying. Max Kellerman has 0 knowledge about whether Daniel Jones is going to be better than Dwayne Haskins. Max Kellerman is the guy who, after Nick Foles had played in 3.5 regular season games in 2017, said, and I quote, go back and pull the clip, Nick Foles is straight garbage and will not win a playoff game. And, of course, he went on to win 3 playoff games in a row and win the Super Bowl. And now Max is a huge champion of Nick Foles. In fact, he seems to prefer prefer Nick Foles over Carson Wentz. But there's Max Kellerman's acumen when it comes to picking quarterbacks.
But it happens. I can't get on them but so much, Carlton. We make predictions all the time. I'm wrong sometimes, and I know I'm great, but I'm wrong sometimes, Carlton. It happens. It happens, man.
But again, his hatred for Gettleman now, he's accusing him of not trading him for a third-round pick today. He doesn't even realize, the Giants are going to get a compensatory third-round pick for the loss of Collins. His hatred of Gettleman, causes him to say Daniel Jones everybody knows he's going to be a complete bust. He doesn't, and neither do I. And I'm just saying that when you're comparing him to Haskins was surrounded with guys that are on NFL rosters and that are going to make NFL teams. Jones was surrounded by nobody who's in the NFL right now.
Yeah,
we're going to have to see.
But I would say this. They seem to be interested, a bit overtly, I might add, Carlton, in the overall comfort of Eli Manning as opposed to what was necessarily in the best interest of the team. You've got to accumulate talent, and the talent you have, you got to keep. I understand guys are headaches sometimes, their mouths and all that. I get all of that, Carlton. I truly get it. But damn, you don't have to play. You're coaching. Deal with it. Figure it out. If that was the case, would we have ever seen the greatness of Lawrence Taylor and others? Sometimes great players are headaches, but that's what you get paid to do when you're a coach or you're an executive. What's wrong with mandating that, Carlton?
In the last 20 years, point to me the team that's had a superstar headache. I'm talking a major headache who's in the news all the time and is a problem for the team.
Yeah.
These guys just don't win. They don't win. They complain. They get big contracts. They don't win.
Carlton, you're a little bit older than me, so I'll throw this back at you. Fair enough, last 20 years. But prior to that, there were many instances where headaches won. Maybe it's not the athlete themselves and a modern-day athlete. Maybe it's how soft we've gotten as a society, how soft it has made coaches and executives that elevates their level of paranoia where they don't want the slightest level of strife because, my God, if that happens, we can't do our job. Once upon a time, I don't care whether it was Chuck Noll, whether it was Tom Landry, whether it was Bill Parcells, even before Bill Belichick, whether it was Don Shula, it was Bill Walsh, it doesn't matter. Every team had some headache, and guess what? They dealt with it. So how come guys today can't do it, Carlton?
You know what the difference is nowadays, Stephen A?
Okay.
And this is, I think, the biggest difference. The headaches have social media platforms. Odell Beckham Jr. photographs himself with white powder on the bed in France or whatever that. I mean, these guys are so self-absorbed. Their headaches become bigger team problems than in the past.
Carlton, I will say this. The white powder was with the female in France he was with. He had pizza.
Well, who knows who was partaking or whatever. And I'm not. That's just one incident. Look at Antonio Brown FaceTiming from the locker room as the coach is lambasting their upcoming opponent. Bill Belichick and Nick Saban.
I got you.
These guys create their own problems because of the advent of social media in a big way.
Carlton, always love hearing from you, buddy. Thank you so much, my man. You take it easy.
Take it easy.
Sid, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me, Sid, real quick. Go ahead, man.
What's good, Stephen A?
I'm good.
With these recent performances from Steph Curry in the playoffs, I got a question for you. Would you take Steph Curry over Kobe Bryant in his prime?
No. Steph Curry is the greatest shooter that I've ever seen. His numbers have gone down in the postseason, but that's not really the reason why. I think that Steph Curry, as great of a shooter as he is, he's helped by the parts around him. And he's never – could you imagine if Steph Curry has ever been on the court by himself? What if there was no Klay Thompson?
Yeah, I feel like if
if he was on the court by himself, you got to remember, Kobe Bryant once had Smush Parker, man. He had Kwame Brown. Yes, he had Slava Medvedenko. These are the kind of people that Kobe had on the squad. We can't listen, man. Here's the knock against Kobe. He wasn't MJ. But even MJ would tell you he was the closest thing to MJ. And I'm here to tell you something right now. The level of disrespect and the lack of platitudes that have been accorded to Kobe Bryant, it's blasphemous. It's downright blasphemous. Kobe Bryant is one of the top 10 greatest players in the history of basketball, man. This brother was that kind of assassin. And we can't ignore the greatness that we witnessed from this young man in his prime. We're too busy glossing over what we saw from him in the last few years once Mike D'Antoni ran him into the ground. But be clear that Kobe in his prime could go with and could go at anybody. Anybody. Let's not forget that, sir.
You don't think Steph could average 40 on that Lakers team with Smush Parker, taking 28 shots a game?
No. I think that, particularly with the rules, not today's soft as cottonelle tissue rules, where you could get called for a foul for having bad breath. Not today. Back in the day when Kobe was playing, you understand? And in the 90s before that, when these brothers could do some things to you, and in the 80s, you can't ignore that. Steph Curry would have got himself hurt, man. I'm not saying the game would have been worse. I'm saying he would not have been able to deal with the durability issues that would have been associated with him. We can't ignore that, and the level of competition that he has to go against now compared to what it was before. It's night and day, bro. You can't ignore that. I got to run. I appreciate it. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. We'll get back to your calls to close out the show in a minute right here with Stephen A. ESPN Radio, ESPN News. By the way, when you're hiring, you don't want to waste time sorting through dozens of irrelevant resumes. You want an efficient way to get to a short list of qualified candidates. That's why you need Indeed.com. Post a job in